Hello, my darling souls. Hello, this is Tara Love Perry. And something really weird happened to me yesterday, and it spun me out quite a lot and left me feeling quite fragile and vulnerable. But it was also, real life. It was like a really good reminder. So I want to share that with you. And the reason I want to share it with you is because I'm just going to give you a little precursor to what happened immediately before this weird thing happened to me. And so I'm going to talk about today decisions and how a decision can change your life. And that can be your health, your wealth, your love life, your strength, your fitness. It can be anything, any aspect of your life. And I really, really believe in the power of transformational decision making. And it's something that actually I write about quite a lot as well. And I'm going to show you with my story how you can use this in your own life. And also what these transformational decisions have to do with self-love. And that's another thing I talk about a lot. In fact, I'm always talking about it, right? Tara Love Perry is for a reason. It's because I believe in love. And I know that love is the most powerful thing on this planet, if not the whole universe. And what happens is we tend to be waiting or wanting that love to come from somewhere else. And this can really be a big downfall for us. It can really mess a lot of things up for us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, on all levels, wanting that love to come from somewhere else other than from our own divine source within us. So I'm going to really go into that self-love a little bit deeper, because it's not often what maybe you think it is. A lot of people talk about self-love as doing their hair every week nicely, or taking yourself shopping, or bubble baths, or not making yourself do something that you don't want to do. And all these are really, really, really great things, but I want to take it to a much deeper level. So the precursor to my story is I was helping a friend move house, or my kids were actually there helping her move house. And this lady, she's an amazing woman. She's organised healing areas in festivals for years and years. She's really in that healing arena and alternative therapy arena. She knows a lot. And we were having just a quick chat about something, and I made a comment about how I believe it's just all about a decision. And this lady, she has not had an easy ride with it, with her own family and the illnesses and things that they've suffered. It's been quite intense for them. So it's quite a big thing for me to say that, it's quite a bold statement. Oh yeah, actually, it's all about decisions. It's all about decision. So really ironically, on the way home, so I'm driving down this country lane. It's a beautiful hot summer day. I'm so happy. I'm elated. Life is great. Everything's fantastic. And I notice, whilst driving down this very narrow track country lane, that there's a wasp right in my lap, and I've got really tiny little shorts on, exposed bare skin everywhere, and this wasp is really like right down there in my lap. And then it falls between the gap between my legs. I open my legs and it's like I've got a wasp down there, and I'm driving. So I decide to slowly pull the car and try and not leave it on a bend on this country road. But I get out of the car, the engine's still running, and I'm trying to get out so I don't sit on the wasp and squash it. So I do so in kind of backing out. And on the way out of the car, I ended up whacking my elbow right on the nerve here and whacking it on the bit of metal door behind me, which of course makes me go, whew, start feeling a bit dizzy, and it really started hurting. So I go round to the back of the car, because I'm right up against the verge, go round to the back of the car, and it's really painful. So I'm sitting down on the road because I start to feel really dizzy. And the next thing I know, and I don't know how long I was sitting there for, or lying there for, but when I came round, it was because my body was convulsing, and I'd blacked out on this road. And I am sure I wasn't there a long time, but it was really weird to be waking up behind my car on a country road and suddenly realizing I'm in such a vulnerable place. This is not a safe place for my car to be, because somebody could come around the corner at any moment. And I'm totally dizzy. My whole body has got that weird pins and needles feeling all the way through it, and it's not comfortable, and I just don't feel okay. But anyway, I get in my car. I haven't really got anyone I can call, and I don't even think to call anybody actually, but I just get in my car and I drive home. And I managed to get myself home, which is a bit crazy. And in even lying in my bed afterwards, my whole body is like, my whole nervous system is, I don't know if it's shock or something's happened, but I'm not feeling okay. And I suddenly start to feel really, really, really vulnerable and really sorry for myself. Mostly because I'm trying to reach people and there's nobody on the end of a phone who can comfort me, and there's no one who can come round and just drop everything and come round and give me a cuddle, because I'm in shock and I feel really fragile. So I'm not this kind of person who, I'm so good at taking care of myself usually. I've got myself through all kinds of situations, healed myself from all kinds of things, healed my own broken hearts, because I believe in choosing to love myself enough to not leave myself feeling not okay, to not leave myself feeling totally ill. I went through that a long time ago, and it was me that got me out of that. And so I'm in this place and actually end up speaking to my kids and this same woman that I'd had the conversation with on the phone. And she reminds me jokingly, yeah, but Tara, what did you say? You can fix anything and it's all about a decision. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're totally right. I'd forgotten that, because I'm in that place of feeling really small, really vulnerable, and really like I just need a grown up. I need someone bigger and stronger than me. I need those big arms to make me feel safe. I need it to come from somebody else. And I really wasn't thinking about trying to help myself. And I kind of didn't want to help myself, and this is the crux of the thing. I kind of didn't want to help myself. I wanted to be poor me. Now that's completely okay, and I have all the compassion and love in the world for my poor me. But at that moment, generally speaking, but in that moment I wasn't being loving and compassionate even towards my poor me. I was just being poor me. And I hope you know what I mean by that, that I'm helpless. I need someone else. I can't do anything for myself. I don't want to do anything for myself. I don't even want to try and get out of bed and go and get myself some food. I'm kind of not enjoying, because that's the wrong word, and it's total subconscious mind, it's childhood mentality. Where's my grown up? Where's my bigger, stronger person to take care of me? I'm just going to lie here being really pathetic. And then also crying because there isn't a big person to come. So that's kind of double whammy. It's worse when there's nobody to look after you, and there wasn't. Everyone was busy or unavailable. So that double whammy of, I'm so pathetic and I can't take care of myself, and there's no one there, and there's no one to rescue me, and I'm all alone, poor me, And so hearing my friend and my kids start, taking the piss because they're so funny, telling me that this wasp was my shamanic spiritual animal and this kind of stuff. You can tell they've grown up in my alternative hippie lifestyle. So funny. So they remind me, and I'm like, oh yeah, my goodness, it is a choice. And what's the choice that I can make in this moment? The choice is that I can choose to love myself enough to be my own hero, to be my own grown up, to be the one that turns around and says, hey, Tara, little vulnerable me, I've got you. I'm not abandoning you. You aren't alone. You're safe, and I'm taking care of you. Now, I believe whatever situation we are in, we always have the grown-up and the child within us. We always have the victim and the hero within us. We always have that little vulnerable person who's suffering, who's too helpless to sort it out, because we were that child and we remember. It's like a psychological thing. It's a deep subconscious thing where we want our needs to be taken care of by somebody bigger than us. And then there's also the part of us that's grown up and is fully capable, has learned to be responsible. And it's being able to let the responsible adult in us go to the needy, vulnerable child in us and make a bond, so that we do not abandon ourselves. And it takes a great deal of self-love to do that. Because I have felt, especially in those times, and yesterday wasn't one of them, but one of those times where I felt so uncared for in certain times of my life. Even though technically speaking I really was cared for, I just was in that place and I couldn't see it, and I was really in my poor me or my drama or whatever. And I felt so uncared for that I didn't then want to care for myself. And it was like that little child in me that says, I don't know how to care for myself, and I don't want to even try to care for myself, and I'm just going to lie here or wait here as long as it takes for somebody to come along. Now, I know in so many people's situations, this is what happens. I watch even powerful healers that are there for other people And trust me, I know a lot of people like this in my life. I grew up with this. I grew up in a healing centre. I've been surrounded by alternative therapists and healers since I was a child. And I see it in so many people. And I'm not just talking about alternative therapists, I'm talking about everybody. You know, I was even having a conversation with another person the other day, and she was talking about how Jesus had sacrificed himself. He had faced the greatest temptations. He faced the greatest terrors, the greatest darkness. And in all his love and compassion, he was not tempted. He was redeemed. And then, you know, he was sacrificed, and he did that to save us, that he fought the darkness on behalf of us so we wouldn't have to. And as long as we call on Jesus' name, then we're all saved. And ironically, this person that's telling me this, who I love very, very much, is actually really not okay, not physically well, and hasn't been physically well and healthy for a very long time, suffers from a great deal of emotional upset, suffers even sometimes from, you know, kind of mental trauma that's really destabilizing. And I kind of said, well, what if Jesus was not saying, hey, I'll do it all for you? How can one man several thousand years ago be doing it for the entire human race forever, that nobody will ever suffer again? That is not true. That's obviously not working, or all the people that believe in Jesus would not be suffering right now. Okay, but people are suffering. One man's love does not save everybody else from suffering forever. Okay, maybe, and this is just a maybe, it was the first thing that came to me was, what if Jesus was doing it as an example to us? That no darkness is greater than our love. That there is no fear or nothing to fear on this earth that cannot be overcome by love and compassion. And you might say, well, I'm not as loving as Jesus. Well, I'm going to beg to differ and say that actually you are. And not that I know Jesus personally. Obviously I don't. I've met a being in spirit that looks a lot like him. I've hung out, done some healing together. But in terms of Jesus Christ himself, I don't even know if that's a real story. I don't even know if that's true. But if it is, and such a being exists, well, I think that's an example of what every human being is capable of doing. We all have a heart. Our heart beats the same. Our heart is born in the same way, created by the same way, by whatever source created Jesus, created all of us. You know, I'm not a religious person, I'm sure you can tell that. And I believe in the power of that unconditional love that Jesus was said to have had, because I feel the same thing. And in that moment, if I can face sometimes the worst thing that we have to face is to actually love ourselves. And not be that helpless one, not be that, I'll wait for my someday hero, I'll wait for my God to do it, I'll wait for my icon, my religious icon to do it for me, because I'll appease him and I'll do these certain sets of laws that some human being made up somewhere along the line, because, you know, no actual divine master has ever given us a set of laws. It's always come from somebody else who wrote them, actually. So we've got this idea, we just follow these laws and then our God, our icon, will take care of everything and give us everything. Look around, guys. It's not really working out that way, is it? There's a lot of suffering. Too much suffering. It's unbearable sometimes. And what if these loving people that have existed on this planet are an example to all of us to say, okay, let me love my own fears, let me love my own demons, let me love the darkness that I fear most, which is inside of me. And I know that we fear what's inside of us more than anything else, because when something comes up, even a little thing like yesterday, just a little wake-up call for me, like, get grounded, Tara, you're up too high, just come down again. Just a little thing can happen. Right, and of course there are many people going through much more severe things than my passing out yesterday. But as an example, in that moment, the last place I wanted to turn was to go inside me, because how I was feeling inside me was not okay. I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel good. Those not happy, good feelings made me want to look the other direction in search of a better feeling out here somewhere, because I couldn't face going in. I felt like I didn't have the strength. Now that's not true, because I do have the strength and you have the strength. In any situation, whatever you're facing, it's actually like to turn around and face the real feelings that are inside you, your own fear, your own terror, your own feelings of vulnerability, your own feelings of pain or illness or emotional anguish. Anguish. Like my emotional anguish yesterday. Oh, I've got nobody. It's not the truth at all, but in that moment it seemed like it. And for me to be able to bring my consciousness and my love into that place and reconnect and say, oh yeah, I've got you, me. I've got you. And have compassion for the poor me, and have love for the poor me. Not try and move it away or push it away or change it or shut it down, because that's another one. Just shut it down. Stop feeling like this. Get tough. I don't want to live my life tough. I want to live my life beautifully, in peace, in harmony, with love. So can I be loving and peaceful and strong enough to go in and love the place that's hardest to face? Because if I can do that inside of me, and you can do that inside of you, how would that then affect the rest of the world? How would we then look at somebody else? We would see them through a different set of eyes. We would see them through eyes of compassion. Because when we stop learning to judge ourselves, or we stop running away from ourselves, from our own pain and our own little inner me, really that's generally always the crux of every problem that I've ever seen, is this little me that hasn't been loved. Even the big terrorist bad guys out there, and I'm going to make another video about that. I've got some important things I want to share from my perspective about terror and war. But even those big bad guys out there, through my eyes, through these lenses, I see little people in fear. Little people that weren't loved enough. Because it's so hard to love ourselves truly, deeply, compassionately. Okay, on that level. Now, how would it be if I could be your reminder today, just as my friend reminded me yesterday? If it's a choice for you to be responsible to show up and love the parts of you that most need that loving, would you do it? Would you be willing to love yourself enough? Would you be willing to be your grown-up, your own hero, and just end the suffering? Just reclaim your own space of you, that you belong to you. You're yours. You're yours to look after. And if you want to follow a religious icon or any other kind of hero, Thor's my hero personally. He's my... I love Thor. Is he going to come down and rescue me because I prayed to him? Of course not. Is he real, or is he a story? Who knows? Am I going to wait for that to happen? No. I love myself. I love my life. I love what I've been given. I've been given this life. It's a gift. I don't want to waste that. I want to show up to it and be grateful for my life, and therefore look after myself the best I possibly can. And I'm not always going to do that. Like yesterday, I was feeling really sorry for myself, and today I still do a little bit. But I'm okay with that. But I wanted to share that with you because I think it's important. So that's my food for the soul today, guys. And yeah, hope you get that. Make a decision. You can make a decision if you want to go in and love yourself, where you're waiting for somebody else to do the job for you. You can actually be that hero. So I love you so much. I hope that helps. And I'll speak to you very soon.